Hello, and welcome to the What's Context Podcast. Today on the show, we have Chris Wiley.
Dude, you could just, riff on Star Wars porn jokes fucking all night.
And Tim DeMuse.
Well, you see, he reminded me a lot of this weird Wubbewy doorbell that I got sitting right next to me in my porky.
And Jalen Lawson.
I feel like I'm too young for that sort of thing.
And Matthew James.
There used to be an event at one of the strip clubs where you could toss a midget.
And as always, I'm Wilo Breskinsis. Our special intro music was brought to you by Joe Moore. And now we drop you without context into the What's Context Podcast.
I've never had April Fools on Easter before.
I haven't either, I don't think. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to Easter.
I mean, has it ever happened before?
I'm sure it's happened at some point.
Probably the first Easter, because, Jesus was all like, ha, I'm actually still alive.
Jesus was like, yo,
You
guys.
fuckers thought I was dead. Joke's on you.
He's like, yo, can you get me a blunt?
Like, this practical
I
joke was 3 days in the
fucking
making.
That was my starting cue, Lozano.
So does that mean y'all are starting?
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah.
I suppose as much, right? That's what I would.
you
that's what I
got
would say.
a GTFO, brah. Yeah, it's weird. It's I don't really know what to do with myself. Well, for one thing, I'm not really allowed to post any more April Fool's jokes or try and prank anybody because I've gotten in trouble too many times. So I've kind of tried to ease off of that. I always try to go too hard, and come up with a believable scenario, and then the people get upset because they thought it was real, and then they get mad at me.
Real talk.
What are some examples from the past?
There was this girl I dated in 2016 for a couple months, and I told you on the last podcast, I think it was, about the Justin Bieber cardboard cutout that I had.
Yeah.
Well, she lives in this house alone with her dog, and I thought it would be funny if I just kind of stuck it in the back sliding glass door window of her house. And the picture I had in my head is that she comes around the corner, turns on the lights, sees him staring at her in the window, and jumps, and then realizes, oh, it's just a cardboard cutout. What a jokester that Brian is.
Oh, but dude, she's a concealed carry holder?
No. It might have been better if she was, because I was at a pinochle party with old people, and I got
She's a pyromancer and she burnt her apartment building down.
I got a phone call during the night, and I went into the other room, and it was her, so I answered, and she was like, I don't remember exactly what her words were. She basically asked me if I'd done something or if I knew of, anything if I'd been to her house, and I was like, why? And she goes, the dog just went downstairs and then freaked out and she won't come back up. And then as she started talking to me, suddenly I remembered that recently somebody had actually legitimately broken into her house and set her alarm off, and she had to call the police.
Oh my god.
I thought this was going to end a lot worse.
So she's like outside her house trying to sneak around the back, trying to get a view of what's back there, and her dog won't come upstairs because it's freaked out, and she's all alone down in this, the Cascade Valley is kind of isolated from the town, and it's all dark down there. So I had to confess to her, yes, it's just a cardboard cutout, don't freak out, there's no need to. And then obviously it took some time for her to forgive me for that one.
Yeah.
She didn't think it was funny.
That time being forever.
Yeah, it wasn't too much longer after that we broke up.
Oh, well,
And then there was,
You got a funny story.
when I was at the hotel, I stayed, my head housekeeper didn't come in because she was either off that day or sick or something, and it was April Fool's Day. I thought we got to prank her. So I staged a photo, and we had a tipped over ladder in the background, and then my main, one of my female housekeepers ended up becoming kind of a maintenance girl because she was good with stuff like that, and we needed more help in maintenance. And she's kind of a do-it-yourself, don't ask guys for help type of a girl.
Yeah.
And so we'd staged this thing where she was sitting on the curb, and I had the med kit out, and I was dabbing at her head, and there was real blood, not blood, but I made it look like water and red water and stuff. And then I also did a lot of photoshopping to make it look like her head was just bleeding. And then I had my breakfast lady tending to her on the other side. And then I had one of the housekeepers take the picture with her cell phone and send it to the head housekeeper. And it was like, we had an accident, like she'd fallen off this ladder. And it looked real. I'll post it in the group. And so the head housekeeper suddenly got all like, oh no, is she okay? Like I said, well, she's kind of dizzy. She's just laying on the couch right now. And she's like, you gotta take her to a hospital.
It's a wonder you got fired from that job.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, what are you going to accomplish today? Well, I was going to prank the housekeeper. I was going to go and investigate the pricing on some Justin Bieber cutouts. What were you going to do today?
Yeah, so far, I haven't told of any work I've ever done at the hotel, just antics and stupid stories.
Well, that's like the fun part.
Man, there were so many people that wanted to book a room, but I was too busy faking this ladder fall accident.
The guests love it here. We have all kinds of pranks.
Didn't you leave because of creative differences?
Yeah. It wasn't just that. The CEO and I...
Brian wanted to prank people, and they wanted him to do actual work. And so obviously they creatively had differences.
Yeah, the CEO and I disagreed on a number of things. And then the manager after me disagreed with him, and then the manager before me had disagreed with him. He's just a disagreeable guy.
Brian's like, all right, I got this idea now. Bear with me. I think we should prank the insurance company and burn the hotel down.
That's the best kind of prank because you get money afterwards.
Honestly, with the way that hotel was going, it would have been better for him in the long run.
They'll never see it coming.
And I just now heard a rumor that they're actually they're finally revamping the hotel like I'd asked him to over and over, and they're going to rename it as the 10-Pin Inn and Suites, named after their brewery.
Wait, they have a brewery as well?
Yeah, that's partly why it's a mess, because the CEO is in charge of overseeing the hotel, the bowling alley, the casino, the brewery, the restaurant, and another restaurant downtown that he helps out with.
Sounds like an impossible job for one person.
I agree.
Sounds like that's a lot of hats.
Yeah. It's like Team Fortress 2, you know? You just have a billion fucking hats.
So he's trying to umbrella this whole thing under 10-Pin Brewery, and I thought, I don't know, man. I don't think I would want to stay at a hotel that's named after a brewery. I don't know what brewers know about housekeeping, you know? Hospitality. Unless they give away free beer, then I'm all in.
That'd be the good part, you know?
Just sitting there in your freezer, you know, those little mini beer shots or whatever.
Not to mention bowling alleys are notoriously loud, and you wouldn't want that in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Well, obviously, so the bowling alley is across the parking lot, but what you do get is drunk people coming into their rooms late at night, and they're drunk people don't know how loud they are.
I mean, they do. They just don't give a shit.
Have you guys ever pissed anyone off with a prank or anything like that? Gotten in trouble?
Prank.
Oh, plenty of times. I think the best one that I've ever done is I'm famous for unscrewing shower heads and putting bouillon cubes in them.
That's where I know you from.
That's fucked up.
Well, in my opinion, it's the ultimate prank because, like, there's little to no cleanup. Like, yeah, you're really upset for the time being, but realistically, you just wait a little while and eventually the water goes clear and you know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal. But it's a really chickeny or beefy shower for
You get that
a solid, like, 5 minutes, dude.
You get that one bastard who's just super allergic to bouillon cubes.
Either that or you end up saddled with a new kink for the rest of your life.
Oh, right, dude.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, I dated a girl for a little while, and I bouillon cubed her shower head, and then I told my wife about
Is
it,
that a euphemism?
like, a couple years later, and she's like, if you ever do that, I'm going to divorce you, so I think that if
What?
things ever get rocky and I'm too fucking, I'm too pussy to ever pull the trigger, I'm just going to put a bouillon cube in the shower head and wait for her to call the lawyer.
Right. Man, why don't girls have sense of humor, honestly?
It has to do with the estrogen, it's just awful. Truly, truly awful.
Just can't do anything with that.
How about that prank Gustav Borglum played on America? You know what I mean? He fucking he built Mount Rushmore, and then he made that little KKK shrine over to the side of it, like. Take that, America.
I was gonna say, Tim, is this another Wesley only joke?
No, I figured that the guy in South Dakota would get it.
I'm in North Dakota, not South Dakota, excuse me.
Oh, my bad, bro. They're the same thing, though, aren't they?
Kinda. South Dakota's like fucking sucks though. So does North Dakota, but like South Dakota's like redder in like color, like soil.
Like Indians.
Well, there's quite a few native people here too. I don't know about South Dakota. There's probably a lot there.
But what I do know is there's a hidden KKK cavern. Anyway.
I want to go there. I want to do this.
I don't think anybody's allowed up, unfortunately.
I'm gonna look that up right now. I'm curious now.
I don't think it's actually confirmed that it's a KKK cavern, but
The first thing that pops up is Rushmore Cabin, #1 site for cabin rentals online.
I said cavern.
Oh, I thought you said cabin.
No.
I thought you said cabin. But no, the worst I've ever done is stink bomb people.
Oh, for real? That's
That's
interesting.
horrible.
What was this? What was the scenario? What happened? How?
Yeah.
Like, where were they?
Just at home doing it at work.
You just did it in your own house.
Yeah.
I live in the basement. I don't smell it.
Shit.
You ever do that
Take
thing
this,
where like,
Grandma.
you put like shaving cream or like toothpaste over someone's arm while they're sleeping and like touch their face? So like they touch their face with the hand covered in like toothpaste and shit. I used to do that to my fucking grandpa all the time.
Well, I bet you are fun at parties.
If I'm like high enough.
I had one, but I forgot it.
A prank?
Yeah.
Oh, my
I have
bad.
no idea what it was now.
Okay, let's see. Hold on.
It'll pop up randomly at some later point in the show, I'm sure.
Okay, that's
Is it
good.
like comparing dick sizes? That's like a game.
Nah, that'd be more of a prank on myself than. One thing interesting that happened to me today is I wake up and I look online, and apparently Michigan was under a state of alert because of a Chinese satellite that was falling to Earth.
What?
Yeah, some like Chinese satellite like had broken or something and was preparing to fall to Earth, and they had no idea exactly where it was going to land, but there was like a certain likelihood that it would be in lower Michigan, and so our governor put the state under a state of alert in case some Chinese satellite debris came through your house or whatever.
Hey, everybody, just be aware that at any moment you could fucking die. There's nothing you can do about it,
Yeah,
but just be alert. You know what I mean? I just imagine everybody in Michigan, like, jumping up and down and looking back and forth before they do anything. Just like, da, 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 da.
They're like running from building
That's
to
why
building.
that's why you make sure your satellites are made in the good old U.S. of A.
Yeah, then if you die, at least it was like made in a U.S. factory and not by one of those, people who steal your gerbs.
Yeah, the sweatshop labor satellites.
These damn commies dropping satellites on us.
If an American satellite falls on you, you just gotta tow that thing out of there. But if a Chinese one falls on you, it's just everywhere. There's cleanup. The whole thing just explodes. It's a mess.
Like, who do you sue if a Chinese satellite falls on you? Can you sue anybody? Because at least if it's an American satellite, the family can get some money for, cleaning up Donnie Darko's remains or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or that was an airplane, not a fucking satellite, huh?
Yeah, but it was still pretty fun.
Gives a nice visual, though, for all the listeners at home. Just that nice little airplane engine falling through the roof and squishing Jake Gyllenhaal into oblivion.
I found that bit kind of funny, but I also found it kind of sad.
Oh shit, it's a mad world. Moving on.
Oh god.
Just remember, everybody, to tune into the Lost Context podcast for all your spoiler needs. I know, it's an old
Were
movie.
you planning on watching that movie, Brian?
No.
I sincerely apologize.
No, but I am going to watch South Park, the movie.
Kevin Spacey is Kaiser Soze as well. I apologize.
In
Since we're at it.
In our Lost Context movie night, I've both been talked into watching Nightmare on Elm Street and South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut.
Which Nightmare on Elm Street?
The first
Yeah, which
one. The original.
I've seen all of them, but I haven't seen them all since I was like a kid.
Me and my sheltered life, I've never seen any of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Have you even seen Sex Tape?
Nope.
What?
I don't think I've seen it. What is that?
I've seen a sex tape before.
I've seen a lot of sex tapes, if you know what I mean.
Is that the... Wait, sex tape, isn't that the one with the fat dude and the Diaz girl? Yeah.
Brian?
And
I
they're-
think so.
they got
I just remember the term
rollerblades.
Dutch Cutter coming from it.
Yeah.
I never really considered Jason Segel fat, but maybe.
Because I watched... I only liked him in Freaks and Geeks, and then since then he's kind of chubbed up.
It's really judgmental of you, Brian. You're not exactly... You're not a fit guy yourself, you know.
As a former fat person, I'm offended.
As a fat person, I can call other people out now. It's like how...
I don't think that's how it works.
It's like
I think
how
that
black
it's
people
current
can't
year.
be racist, you know?
Okay, if you can see your dick, you're not a fat person.
Well, that depends on... Okay, let's get into
It
Chris's...
depends on how many mirrors are involved.
Yeah, we got to get
all
into
you
Chris's
have,
competition here, though, because, like, if it's, you know...
Oh, we got a competition.
And speaking of competition, folks, I have a game we need to play. So this was actually suggested by a Lost Context member, and I can't remember who. It was either Tanya or Tara. And whichever one it was, they're probably going to kill me for not remembering. It's a trivia game. And we need to establish a few rules. I'm assuming every time you get a question right, you get a point. I don't know if there's a penalty if you get it wrong, but I think we'll do kind of...
We're going to play on the honor system. If you get it wrong, you have to flick your testicle.
Interesting.
Like how hard are we talking here?
A flick
Like, I
of
mean,
the
we're
foot.
talking about a decent little shot, you know.
Ah, fuck. I just did like a test shot.
Literally a test shot.
Yeah, it was just like how bad it's gonna be, you know. I just gotta.
So I'm thinking we'll do it Jeopardy style. So you gotta I'm gonna start giving. I'll tell you what it is, so you have an idea, and then I'll start giving you one hint after the other, one by one, until you kind of figure it out, and then you'll buzz in like Jeopardy. But we have to come up with a word that you're gonna buzz in with. What do you guys want to say?
Dildos?
I'll say corn dog.
Okay.
Dildos is pretty good.
I'll start giving hints. If you think you know what it is, call out dildos. Chris, you can call out corn dog if you want, and I'll try and see who does it first. And then if you get it wrong, I'll just keep reading hints and somebody else can guess, but then you're out, right? So maybe you should lose a point. I don't know. There's only 15 questions, so yeah, we'll say you lose a point. You go negative if you get it wrong.
All right.
All right.
Okay, here we go. So, question number 1. This is a movie. 2000.
Corn dog.
What's your guess, Chris?
X-Men United.
You get a 0. You get it. You lose a point. 2001. Stanley Kubrick.
Dildos.
What's your guess, Tim?
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Wrongo bongo. You're out.
Corn dog.
You are already out. You don't get a guess on this one again. Stanley Kubrick. Steven Spielberg. Sci-fi. 2 letters. Jude Law. Haley Joel Osment. Lozano's typing in the text that he knows
God
the
damn
answer.
you guys, get the fucking answer.
I know, this is so easy now.
Lozano, if you know it, type it in.
Yeah, I don't know the fucking answer for this.
Here we go. Lozano says,
What is taking so long? This shouldn't take long at all. Okay.
Artificial intelligence.
For one, it's more than 2 letters. There's more than 2 letters in that title.
Yeah, that's like...
no, the 2 letters it's the official title is AI, artificial intelligence.
Yeah, and so it's more than 2 letters.
I
Because
know.
artificial intelligence is in the title.
I just am giving hints. I didn't specifically say that there are only 2 letters in the title.
Well, that's what Chris inferred, and you fucked him up. Even though he was
Yeah,
out, he
I was
wasn't allowed to guess
precogging
at
that
point.
shit, and
No, Chris buzzed in at 2000.
Dude, that...
Yeah,
All right, let's keep moving. This one's an event. 2005, Gulfport, Mississippi. $125 billion.
corn dog.
Chris, you got it. What is it?
The Deepwater Horizon well
No.
exploded or whatever the fuck.
No, but that's kind of a good guess. Last clue. That's a lot of damage.
dildos.
What's your answer?
Hurricane Katrina.
Jalen gets it. Hurricane Katrina. Jalen, you get a point.
Fuck yeah. Fuck you, bitches.
I'm from West Virginia. These things need to get easier.
Can't see it right now, but I'm dabbing.
You're beating me even though you haven't guessed anything.
All right, we got a musician here. You guys ready?
All right.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Tupelo, Mississippi. Sun Records. Rockabilly.
Corn dog.
Who is it?
Elvis Presley.
Chris gets it on hint number 3. Nicely done. So you're back at -1. This one is a video game. 2010. 2D. Puzzle platformer. Noir. German expressionism. Black and white.
Dildos.
What's your answer?
Inside.
Inside? No.
Or, I'm sorry. Fuck, I got that wrong. Wrong one.
You sure
God
did.
damn it. It's... God damn it.
Black and...
Dildos.
What's your answer?
Is it Limbo?
It is Limbo. Matthew gets a
Yeah.
point.
It's the same game company. I said the wrong game.
I just looked over at my video game collection.
This is the president. Yorba Linda, California. Whittier College. Whittier? Duke University School of Law. U.S. Navy Reserve. Ended the military draft. Resigned. Controversial pardon.
Dildos.
Oh,
Tim's got it.
Tricky Dick Nixon.
Yep, you got it. You are also at -1 point.
they can't lick our dick.
Okay, we got another president. You ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. My body is ready.
Okay, here we go. Black.
Dildo.
Matthew gets it. Who is it?
Barack Obama.
Yep, you got it.
It was Bill Clinton, you fucker.
Yeah.
For his black soul. This is I wrote sports person.
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna get this one. Fuck.
1960, Maryland, shortstop, third baseman, 19-time All-Star, Orioles.
Dildo.
What you got?
Cal Ripken Jr.
Ah, Matthew gets it. Matthew is in the lead with 3 points, you guys.
Cleaning house over there.
This is a specific breed of animal. 140 to 260 pounds. Italy, Switzerland, France. Western Alps. Brandy. Barrels.
Dildos.
Oh, corn dog.
Tim's got it.
Saint
Tim's
Bernard.
got it. Nope.
You son of a bitch! It's a Saint Bernard.
I'm giving the point to Tim.
I said corn dog before he said dildos.
Nope.
That is not true.
I was watching the Discord ringer dinger thingies. This is a place. Number 8. Blue. Trident. Hydrogen. Helium. Roman god of the sea.
Dildo?
What you got, Jalen?
Poseidon?
No.
And she said, Brandy, you're a fine girl.
The last clue is ice giant.
Oh, fuck.
I'm too high to remember the other clues now at this point.
Yeah.
Number 8.
I wish
Blue. Trident. Hydrogen. Helium. Roman god of the sea. Ice giant. I wouldn't know this either if I was playing. It's Neptune.
Oh. You wanted the other name for okay.
Is that what it is? Did you
Okay.
Did you get
yeah.
it?
I mean, he didn't really, though, because they were talking about the planet, and he said the god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had talked about the planet, you would have said Neptune. This one is a job position. Entertainment. Colors. Uniform. Instrument. Storytelling. Jokes. Acrobatics. Juggling. Magic
Dildo?
tricks. What you got?
Clown?
No. Well.
Ah.
I'm gonna let you guys be fair here. It was a court jester. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, you have to give it to him.
Okay. Jalen gets a point.
Technically a clown.
Here we go. Celebrity. 1970s. Child model. Acting, directing, producing. Multiple awards. Lesbian. Fava beans.
Dildos.
Tim, what you got?
Ellen?
Fava beans?
I don't fucking know, dude.
Joe.
Oh, I
Corn
know
dog?
now. I fucked up.
Christy, what is it?
Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Is a lesbian?
It's Jodie Foster. It's Jodie Foster.
Yep, it's Jodie Foster. Insect. Antenna. Wings. Iconic. Cossinellidae. That's pronounced that way. Aphids. And last of all, polka dots.
Dildo?
What you got?
Ladybugs?
And Jalen gets another point.
We fucking suck at this. I mean, Jalen's good, but Chris, you and I are not representing the podcast well.
Yeah, I think I'm still in the lead.
I don't know how many.
I've gotten gun shy since the hiccup earlier.
What is Aleppo?
Matthew has 3 points. Jalen has 2 because he got one wrong.
All right.
So
Catching up.
this one's a movie. Family Vacation. Storm. Rumors of Murder. Paris. Traps. Tarantula. Christmas Day.
Dildos.
What you got?
What is Home Alone?
You got it. Home Alone.
Oh, fuck.
I tried to throw
I
some.
got confused when you said traps.
Oh God, lady boys.
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
I tried to throw in a couple of throw-off clues because I'd actually forgotten that there were rumors of the neighbor being a murderer.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I remember that. The old man.
Yeah, the snow shovel.
The rumor mill being Buzz himself.
Right.
This is a childhood toy. 1988. Colors. Rubber. Hasbro. Terrible tasting. Strands. Ball.
Corn dog.
What you got?
Happy Fun Ball.
No. Give up?
Dildos. Play-Doh?
No. It is a... Wait, hold on. Let me see if Lozano knows it. Lozano, you take forever to type.
Yeah. Type faster.
Do not taunt Happy Fun Ball.
No, not My Little Pony, Lozano. It's Koosh Ball.
Terrible tasting.
Have you ever tasted... Holy shit, dude. Have you ever tasted a Koosh Ball?
Is it like... No, I don't think I ever put one in my mouth, no.
Like, I
Looks like
don't even know
Koosh
what
Ball.
those look like. I feel like I'm too young for that sort of thing.
Wait, I thought you guys were in your 20s. I thought you would have at least known what it was. Koosh Ball is those weird...
Today's show brought to you by Koosh Balls, the Tide Pods of the 80s.
I bet Tide Pods are better.
They're those bouncy balls. Well, they're not really bouncy, but they've got all those rubber strings coming out of them, so they look like a hairy, like a gerbil or something. No? All right.
They were just a weird rubbery gerbil, kids. You don't know nothing about the weird rubbery gerbil?
Next question.
Weird rubbery gerbil. 4,000, please.
That has to be our episode title for this one.
Okay, am I gonna spell it with R's or W's?
It has to be W's.
Okay. This is the last trivia question. This is a game controller.
All right.
D-pad, triangle, letters, screen, cable clip.
Dildos.
What is it, Tim?
What is a dildo?
No, it's not a dildo.
Corn dog?
What is it, Chris?
A Vita?
Nope, it's not a Vita. Screen, cable clip, red, yellow, green, blue, thumbstick. Last hint is swirl.
Dildo.
What is it, Jalen?
Dreamcast controller.
Yes! And that puts Jalen tied with Matthew, and I don't have a tiebreaker question.
Just make one up on the spot.
I have a tiebreaker question.
All right, you can ask it.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Boy, this is some hard trivia, you guys.
I'm gonna go with corn dog.
Corn dog? Matthew actually wins because I'm holding a corn dog.
What the fuck?
All right, Matthew is the winner.
Son of a bitch.
Let's try to get admin rights for a week or something.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No, yeah, we'll give him admin
The old
rights for it.
corn dog finger trick.
I'm adminning you right now. Hold on. Matthew.
We're going to end the podcast and nobody's going to be in the group anymore. It's going to be archived.
I have a question. Matthew, you are Matthew James, but you're also Matthew Ash, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
There's a story behind that I was going to tell.
You want to tell it now?
I can't. It was going to be the topic I was...
Oh, okay. I also want to know, this is Easter, and I remember you requesting an Easter podcast episode, like that you wanted to be on it.
Yeah, that's back when I was the whole cardinal mash, piss everyone off with religious jokes, which that has been retired.
But you were...
This is Easter.
Admittedly, you were really good at it. You were great at pissing everyone off with stupid jokes.
I appreciate it.
What do you guys think? I mean, I personally think that Cardinal Mash, he was obnoxious, and he did carry jokes on too long, but...
Well, you see, he reminded me a lot of this weird wobbly doorbell that I got sitting right next to me in my porky.
If we do another acting out at scene, I just want you to use that voice.
I was already losing it after a sentence. I'm pretty positive that I can't keep it up for an entire. I'll have to work on that one for a while.
You'll do that, and I'll bring up the Herbert voice again.
I mean, I feel like we've got a scene brewing. What should I find a script from?
I don't know, Sean. Do you like popsicles?
I liked the idea of using the scene where it's the scene where Two-Face is talking to Harvey or to Commissioner Gordon.
Two-Face is talking to Harvey Dent.
He could do that. It's kind of split there. He's talking to Commissioner Gordon, and he's trying to say who's gonna die. Who do you love the most? And it's a very dramatic scene between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think your voice would fit perfectly in there with no R's.
Oh, fuck.
Or the Bill Pullman Independence Day speech would be pretty good, too.
You know, I watched Independence Day about 2 years ago. I found it on a random DVD. It doesn't quite hold up.
I would imagine not.
Yeah, the CG is pretty bad in there. Which is crazy because, like, if you go back and watch Jurassic Park, that shit holds up, like, to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jurassic Park looks pretty good.
Actually, Independence Day, as far as special effects, it wasn't that bad. But when you consider the story and the dialogue and everything, you know, when you watch it as a kid, you don't know any better. But you go back and watch it now, and you're just like, this is so silly.
No, dude. Watch the scene where the fucking, like, city's blowing up, and then the dog has to jump into that fucking room in the tunnel when the fire's, like, going and blowing all the cars away behind it. That is the worst looking scene I've probably ever laid eyes on. It is so bad.
Oh, man.
Yeah, as a kid, when it first came out, I was like, what? And now I'm just like, holy shit. Good lord.
In less than an hour, an aircraft from here will join the others around the world, and you will be launching into the largest aerial battle of the history of mankind. Mankind! That one should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interests. Perhaps it's fate. Today is the 4th of July. And you will once again be fighting for our freedom. If not from tyranny, or oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to resist. And should we win today, the 4th of July will no longer be an American holiday, but as a day for the world to declare in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today we're going to celebrate Independence Day.
Oh, man.
I missed that movie.
Jesus Christ.
I had the perfect amount of beer for that bit.
Oh, fuck.
It's not the 4th.
Wasn't that the bad guy from Wreck-It Ralph?
It's not the 4th of July, it's Easter.
Oh, fuck.
Matthew, let's talk about your topic. What do you have to say about Matthew Ash?
Alright, so I was going to bring up the topic of stalkers.
Oh, interesting.
Boy, interesting.
So, of course, you know I have multiple Facebook accounts.
I thought you were going to say multiple stalkers.
So, Matthew Ash is actually my real name. James is my middle. So, probably over a year ago, I was in the hospital fucked up on medication due to anxiety, and I met a nurse. And
I
I'm
always
pretty
feel
what
like
happened.
somebody's watching me.
So, Needless to come to say, he met me and the girl hit it off, and she ended up being married.
Oh shit.
And my friend, the group as well, ended up having to send a text and lie and say that he was in a car accident to get me out of her house. Because her husband was on the way home.
Holy shit.
What the?
And she had a knife pulled on herself, saying she was going to fucking kill herself. So
Oh my god.
the birth of Matthew James, because she would Facebook message me under accounts called Stephanie Miles, Stephanie Youngblood, 20 or so different names. I end up having to change my cell phone number.
Jesus.
And the only way I got it to stop is I lied and said I moved from West Virginia down to Florida, and the car that I drove I gave to my parents.
Stephanie Youngblood, that sounds like a character from Sergio's fan fiction.
Yeah.
And I will post a random image of this chick. I don't know what the hell kind of medication they put me on, but no.
Wow. So Matthew James and Matthew Ash, is that in relation to this girl? Did you say that it's because of that?
It was because of the stalker. And with me having the job that I have, everyone that I work with is under Matthew Ash because I can easily lose the job.
So Matthew Ash is living in Florida.
Yeah. Even though we're the same person.
Interesting. So your alt account is just a decoy.
Pretty much.
Damn, that's like some next level shit right there.
Or I guess I should say that
Yeah,
your real account is the decoy and your decoy and your alt account is the real you.
Yeah, this chick was so fucking stupid. I kept all the text messages and I would post episodes named after Star Wars of The Stalker Strikes.
Man, that's a rough story.
No, it's actually pretty funny if I went into more detail.
Well, then you probably should.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that.
Of course, living out in West Virginia, we're in the middle of bumfucked Egypt. So
I thought you said West Virginia.
yeah, she kept saying she was going to drive by the house, and I was like, if you do this, I have a shotgun ready for you. She lied and said she drove a Mustang. She didn't drive anything. She still actually messages that account from time to time, just out of the blue. She tried to be Facebook friends with my entire family. All kinds of stupid shit that she pulled, but I will definitely post some of the screenshots in the chat for, not this chat, but the group for everyone to read.
Oh, you should post them in here so we can read them in fun accents.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find them.
It's kind of a thing, and we like to do it. And by we, I mean me. We.
Oh, there's plenty of them.
You can find us on MeWe, folks. Just search for the Lost Contacts on MeWe, and you'll see our group, and you can request to join, and most likely Chris will approve you. Look at lots of porn and say slang.
And Photoshop Brian's face into gay porn. He likes that.
Well,
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
that might get you banned. It's the one thing that'll get you banned. I'm trying to remember if I don't have any like stalker stories. I don't personally have any stalker stories. My sister got stalked a little bit. My mom's been stalked a little bit.
That seems to happen to girls a lot more than the other way around.
I don't remember all the details of my mom's story, but this was back in the 1960s to 70s somewhere, and she worked at she was a secretary for this dude. I can't remember what the business was, but he ended up falling in love with her. He was a married man as well. And was he married? It doesn't matter. He was kind of older. He was much older than her. He ended up trying to get her to do stuff with him, and she wouldn't, obviously, and she was dating my dad at the time.
Yeah.
And he started doing, like, following her home was already sketchy, but then he started doing really sketchy stuff, like letting the air out of her tires and just weird random shit. Like, how would this get her to like him? I don't know, but... And they ended up, her dad called the police, and again, I don't remember all the details, but this guy was somehow friends with the chief of police, or, you know, he was an important, influential person, and they basically, partly because it was 1960, they kind of just shrugged it off, you know. And I think my dad ended up, they like hid in the bushes or something. It was like, And he came to do something to their car. I don't know if he was going to write something, but they basically caught him. And he made up some bullshit excuse about, oh, I was just going to, leave a message to let her know that blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no. They're like, you need to leave. And once my dad got involved and they caught him in the act, he kind of laid off. But he was kind of scary, kind of sketchy for a while, and the police wouldn't really help out. I started watching that, I can't remember the name of it. It was a stalker show on Netflix. And they talked about people that have been stalked. And that's pretty common. It seems like the police can't really do anything unless you make, a written record of all the times that he's called you and showed up and watched you and followed you and all that stuff.
Yeah, it seems kind of tough to prosecute that stuff.
I hate the idea of people, filming you or spying on you through the windows and stuff, because I think it feels really helpless.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I think, although realistically, it's pretty fucked up to think about the things that are legal in a lot of places. Like, I was reading about how this judge was trying to uphold this dude going around and taking pictures up girls' skirts with his cell phone camera.
Oh, shit.
Like, well, they have to have every expectation that there isn't privacy, and it's like, come on, bro. Like, really? Like, I understand giving the paparazzi rights. Like, I fucking get it and whatnot, but to physically stick your phone up somebody's skirt, like, come on. We gotta draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, there's a funny...
Although, actually, we could get a confirmation. Is this the future ANCAPs want?
Yeah, is this answer the question? Or the NAP gets it?
There's a funny...
Sorry, go ahead.
There's a funny balance, because if a celebrity goes to a red carpet show and they've got this flimsy dress that barely covers them at all, and there's a nip slip, you're like, well, yeah, you could get a nip slip whether you wanted one or not, because it's just all hanging out.
That's different, though. You know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you could say, well, it's public. You're out there wearing this thing. But you're right. That's different than somebody that's in a dress or whatever, and somebody's got a long pole with a camera on it, and they're sneaking up behind him with a selfie.
Oh, wait, how is that?
Those
how
sneaky long poles.
Was it you, Brian?
Yeah, did you do it?
I mean, I don't have a selfie stick. What?
That's not what we call it around my parts.
We just call it
porn getter.
We just call it the old ka-chow stick.
Wow.
The old ka-chow rod.
Yeah, no, I've never been stalked. I mean, obviously, I know women in my life that have been stalked because that's fairly fucking common. But nope, never been stalked.
I mean, the worst that happened to me is some chick I was friends with online when I was like 13, and she was like 12. She called me like 100 times in like 2 hours. But that's like, that's like the worst thing. I've never actually had anything like.
Oh wait, I've got a good story about getting stalked. So I shot this deer one time, and when my cousin and I were fucking tracking it down, we got lost and turned around, and like we kept going back around, and I'm looking and I see these fucking tracks, and I was positive that a fucking pack of wolves was following us.
Fuck.
That shit was scary as shit, and I was like, hey, let's go back to camp, dude. Like, this is really fucked up, and I don't want to be here when the shit goes down, so let's go. So that was being stalked, but just not in quite the same way, I guess.
I mean, like in a I don't know if more dangerous is the way to put it, but like in a frightening fashion.
In a peripherally dangerous way, for sure.
Like, you don't want to get a wolf like fucking you up.
Right.
My sister.
You can fuck the wolf.
Found an image of the chick and everything. I'll be posting it here in a moment.
Hooray.
My older sister dated a dude that was a pilot, and when she broke up with him when she was in college, they had a long-distance relationship for a while, and she decided he was being too controlling and too nosy, and she just dumped him. And he could not handle it, and he got crazy for a while, and for a year, he called my mom, and I actually just asked her today as the topic came up at the lunch table. I said, why did you put up with him calling you for a year straight complaining about my sister? And she's like, I actually don't know. But he went bonkers for a while, And then finally they
He's just buzzing the house at 100 feet.
He lived on the coast, and we're kind of central Washington, so we didn't hear or see from him for a long time. Because after about a year, he kind of gave up and left her and let her be. And then I started dating the girl that I eventually married, and she was the one who was working at the hotel before me. She kind of got me in and got me the job. And we had this shuttle service because we were the closest hotel to the airport. And the hotel actually had a limo, an old like Cadillac limo that the owner really liked for some reason. So she would drive it at night, go pick up the pilots, take them back. And when I was hanging out with her, I just thought, whatever, I'll go along for the ride. And come to find out, this dude was one of the pilots traveling back and forth from Seattle to Moses Lake or wherever he was flying from. And she'd mentioned him, and then it kind of, because I guess he mentioned dating somebody from Moses Lake at one point, and he said, oh yeah, it's, he said the last name of Bridges, and she's like, wait, as in like Brian Bridges? And he's like, oh yeah, that's her brother. And she's like, I'm dating Brian. And he was like, what? And so the news got back to me, and I was like, son of a bitch. And so then I got the job as night auditor, and I ended up having to shuttle the pilots, and so inevitably I had to re-encounter this guy, and I swear every time we picked him up for the airport.
You had to reenact pretending to be him?
No. Every time we picked him up for the airport, every week that he would be there, we'd drive past where I live, the neighborhood where I live, and he would be like, and not even subtly, he'd just awkwardly out of the blue be like, so how is Kristen? And I'm like, are you serious, man? Like, it's been years, dude. It's been like, I don't know, 5 years or something. How's she doing? And I'd be like, she's fine. And it got so awkward. He said it enough times that eventually the pilots that flew with him, or I don't know if they were pilots or if they were like, ladies, whatever you call those, flight attendants. But eventually they were just like, dude, aren't you married? And like, didn't you break up with her? He's like, yeah, I'm just curious. The dude was a nutcase. I was so glad when he stopped flying to Moses Lake, because holy shit, couldn't let it go. I don't know, something just happens to guys sometimes when they have a breakup, and if they've already got issues anyway, and they just
lose their fucking minds.
See, I've never understood any other reaction than drinking heavily and
exactly
and that's just because I guess that's how I choose to deal with things, is to, because like I don't want to talk to somebody that just made me really mad like that. Like, I want to go to the bar and call them a bitch behind their back. You know what I mean? Like,
right. And the other thing
we
is,
should unmute Lozano and see if there's like a thing of sort of gay stalking in his community.
Oh, I'm sure, and I'm sure it's bad, dude.
Matthew's posting a flood of pics.
Oh my God, Matthew! Like, what the fuck were you doing, bro?
Why is every letter capitalized? Every word capitalized in her fucking...
I don't know. This was a crazy psycho bitch, I told you.
Yeah, she sounds unhinged.
I'm going to have to look at this when the podcast is over. Who is this dude in this picture? He's got duck lips.
Yep, sure, Matt. Yup, stop playing games. Really? Stop playing games, Matt, because you dumped me for stupid shit. Shite. Right. Matt, you dumped me because you thought I was married.
I wanted to believe that she's showing you her boobs in this pic, but it's actually this dude that she's posting.
No, that was one of my friends.
Would a nipple pic prove a point? I know it's you, Matt. I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna go somewhere.
Do you watch Adventure Time?
Yeah, of course.
I figured.
I have children, man, and you have to pick out the shows that aren't shit.
What?
That's the biggest part of watching TV with children, is figuring out what shows don't completely fucking suck, because it's never about the shows that are good, because those are few and far between. Like, I actually enjoy Adventure Time, But if you let on that you enjoy it, then your kids start to hate it, and then you're going to inevitably end up watching something that's way worse.
I wonder if that's
And
what happened
so-
to Tara, because she told the same story. She said, my daughter was super into Adventure Time, and I loved it, and now she hates it. She won't even watch it.
Adventure Time.
Don't whine.
My daughter!
For all the listeners out there, I just wanna let you know that I have drank almost a pint of Tim's beer that I was gonna send him because it's Easter, and this is a
I want
special
beer.
reserve beer. It's 10% ABV.
There's a bunch of beer in my fridge right now. I want it.
I would like to mention that if Brian wasn't a giant pussy, I would be drinking that beer right now. Because literally all he had to say was, "No ma'am, there is no beer in here." Why the fuck would I do something so illegal? As a matter of fact, I'm mad that you would try and impugn me. I'm impugned. What the fuck?
You should.
And then she would have given you free shipping on top of the fact that she wouldn't have checked the fucking box because she makes $11 an hour.
You should be grateful, Tim. This is horrible. I hate this beer. It's the worst. I could barely choke it down. Jalen, you have a topic for us?
A topic? Well, let me think of one. Like an actual topic. Okay. I want like worst drunk stories.
Okay. I feel like I should.
Oh God.
I feel like maybe I should not go. Well, maybe I should go first because mine's going to be the lamest.
Yeah, do that. Then I'll go because mine aren't that nuts.
Mine was really sad, actually. It was just pathetic. Like, I went to grocery outlet and I found this bottle of wine that was like 20 years old, and it said like 20 ABV or something. And I took it home and I overestimated how much I could drink, so I just poured myself a giant goblet of this shit. And that was probably the worst I'd ever been drunk. I remember writing my friend a message on Facebook publicly, and my parents found out, and they were like, "You foolish boy," and basically told them how drunk I was. And then I remember like going to bed and crashing, and apparently my dad came in and checked on me after that, but I don't remember any of it. My memory's just kind of gone after that, and I woke up like 12 hours later feeling sick, and I felt like the very thought of wine repulsed me, and I threw the rest of the bottle away. And that's probably the drunkest I've ever been, and it was just alone in my own house.
It's not even a good story.
I told you.
That sounds like a homeschooler story, like right there.
Yeah.
That is exactly how a fucking homeschooler gets the most trash that they've ever been.
The only
It's like an after-school special.
The only thing that would have made it better is if your fucking cousin was over there drinking with you.
like the only remotely exciting thing that I've ever done, and it's not even a good story, is that I got drunk at my friend's house once, and I thought it would be funny if I threw myself down the stairs, so I did. And I woke up the next.
Why didn't you lead with that one?
I woke up the next day with this giant bruise on my thigh, and I thought, what the hell is that? And then suddenly it all came back to me. That's it. That's all I got, boys.
All right, I got a few. Some are like my friends. One, the drunkest I've ever been. I was at a friend's house. Like, I was like 20 years old or something. I was like at his house. His family was out of town. His house was pretty big. There was like a bunch of fucking people there. My other friend showed up, and like he had a bottle of Captain Morgan, like one of the big ass ones. And he was like, "Hey man, do you just want to like pass this back and forth?" So like we just took like huge ass pulls off of it for like an hour and a half straight.
That sounds horrible.
And then he ended up in the basement vomiting a lot. I was laying next to him on the floor. My friend's cat was with me. I was trying to sing to him to like make him feel better. And I was so drunk that I couldn't control my voice. So I was just making like incomprehensible fucking noises. And like I eventually like crawled up the stairs, got into like a bed. Next to someone. I'm not sure who it was exactly. And I woke up the next morning. I had puked all over the wall in my sleep.
What the hell? That's some Exorcist type shit right there.
Like, that's one of them. Another one, it was like my second year of college. I was at a house party. There was like a dance floor area, and there was a couch. And this girl I knew from high school was making out with this guy. And I was just like twice as drunk as everyone else at this party. And I sat down next to them. stared at, like, watched them make out for like a few minutes, like just stared at them without saying anything. And then like they were like, "Hey," and I was like, "It's great that you guys are doing this right now." And then like I just kept talking to them. They were pretty drunk too, so they were just like going along with it, and they were making out and turning back and talking to me. And then I blacked out, and I apparently kept doing that, and then started screaming things.
Nice.
I like that your first drunk story was just you trying to take care of your drunk friend while chilling with his cat.
Cats are really good when you're drunk. They're just like the funnest things ever.
Like,
and if you're high as fuck.
Like, hey, you know why I like you, Butters? You're just a really cool person.
You ever get your cat high? Like, have you ever done that before?
We had a cat that thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, if you would hold out the fucking joint, he would come over and, like, sniff the fucking smoke coming off it and shit.
Oh, yeah. Cats love getting high, man.
Oh, yeah, dude. He was super down.
It probably takes them back to, like, Persia or Egypt or someplace where their heritage is from, you know?
Yeah, you know.
Right. Just thinking about how badass they were at some point.
Yeah.
Having hookahs and shit.
You ever just, like, want a big titty Iranian girl? Like, that's like all I want out of life.
Dude. So, I think the story I'm going to tell is why I'm no longer welcome at Hotel Foster, which is a bar on North Avenue in Milwaukee. I mean, I'm not welcome at a lot of bars, but none for as great of a story as this. Normally, I just get kind of unruly and, you know, be mean to people, and then they ask me to leave. But in this situation, they had gotten a live band to come and play, and the live band was actually really good, but people were, you know, being fucking super noisy and, like, disrespectful and, like, you know, just carrying on conversations really fucking loud. And so I was going around, and apparently I was just, like, striking up conversations with people just to let them know that they were piles of shit for not listening to the band. And so eventually, like, dude, I remember what it was like to play music for a fucking crowd that doesn't want to listen to you. That shit is horrible.
Yeah.
And so I'm going around and I'm trying to convince people, and so this dude is just being an asshole about it. And so then he goes and gets the manager, and the manager is like, "Hey, if you're not going to stop bothering people, like, we're going to have to ask you to leave." And I was like, "Well, what about asking all these people that are bothering me to fucking leave, motherfuckers? Every other goddamn person in this bitch is fucking talking. I'm trying to listen to the band." And so he's, like, trying to be reasonable, like, offers to buy me a beer, like, "Hey, man, you know, I'll buy you a drink if you want," and, like, you know, I get it, like, whatever. And I'm like, fuck that. I don't fucking want your drink. So anyway, the way that this bar is set up is, like, they've got a huge window that faces North Avenue, and so you've got, like, the bar is right along this window. So, like, everybody that if they're staring at the bartender, they're staring out this window. So when they asked me to leave, I decided that I was going to piss all over this window. But, like, not in just, like, a normal fashion. Like, I was jumping up and trying to get urine as high as humanly possible until my buddy Brandon was like, "Bro, we need to get the fuck out of here because they're talking about calling the cops." And I'm just pushing him away like, "Fuck them! Fuck them! Let them call the cops! I don't give a fuck! Fuck them! Fuck them, dude!" Like... And so yeah, that's I'm not welcome there anymore at all. But I got home before any police showed up, and nothing ever ended up happening from that. But
yeah, you need to take your urine and leave.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to top that.
I feel like Chris doesn't have any cool stories because he told me whenever he gets high, he just, like, sits on a couch. And
I was drunk as shit.
I've had pretty, like, interesting stories. It's just, like, the best one I've already told on the podcast of, like, when I was camping and ended up falling into the fire twice.
That's right.
The second time reenacting the first time falling into the fire.
Oh, one of my friends pissed on his girlfriend while he was drunk.
That's gross, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, We've all done stupid shit like that. I remember singing Stone Sours Through the Glass with the window up to my friend that was out there.
How is that similar? To your girlfriend looking at you like I mean, I can get where the joke is there. Like you were trying to do a bit, but you were drunk, so it was a terrible bit. He urinated on his girlfriend,
I
on
blacked
his
out
significant
drunk
other.
on a
Like,
trampoline in my boxers in the middle of winter.
okay, now we're getting closer. Better, warmer.
Pissed
Like,
myself at that point.
okay, did you get frozen to the trampoline?
I'll be pissed on the trampoline. I don't remember. I got in the middle of the night drunk, saying I've had to piss and broken a little nightstand.
Oh, that's interesting. Like, I had this staircase that I built for my dog so that he wouldn't hurt his back if he jumps up and on and off the bed. And I got really plastered the other night, and about maybe a month ago. And I went to jump on my own bed, which is a queen, so it's pretty large. And I missed completely. And I landed on that staircase and just demolished the whole thing. And I woke up the next day and thought, oh, what happened to the... Oh, yeah. I had really bad aim. Every once in a while when I get super plastered, I post drunk thoughts on Twitter. And there's only two. I hashtag it with Drunk Brian. There's only two that are really worth even reading, and the rest are just completely stupid. But this one says, this is pretty deep for a drunk person. What if you got addicted to something that doesn't exist? You could never be satisfied. Hashtag Drunk Brian.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's pretty deep, you know.
The second one is India Pale Ale.
Communism.
The second one is India Pale Ale. You drink it from a bucket. I think it could take off. Hashtag Drunk Brian. And of course, pale is spelled P-A-I-L.
Yeah, that's really good.
I'm sure on Twitter, most everybody took it the other way and think that you were making fun of Indians.
Triggered a bunch of people.
When I was a kid, I always thought that the best idea in the world would be to take wine, but like the really sweet wines, and put it in a Capri Sun thing and call it Juicy Drunk.
You know, that's
Well,
funny.
Dennis had posted that thing earlier today.
Right.
I know,
where it was
that's what
like
made me think about it.
Yeah, that thing was awesome. Which brewing company was that?
Great
did that?
Lakes
It was
Brewing.
Like, Great Lakes.
Great
yeah.
Lakes, yep.
And so basically, it was a Capri Sun pouch, but like with beer inside it.
Right.
And it was their April Fool's joke, and that's genius. I would drink that.
I think it's good, but honestly, I kind of think Tim's idea is catchier.
I mean, I kind of think your idea of drinking beer out of a pail.
It would definitely catch on here in Wisconsin.
Here's the last one.
Yeah.
The last one I did was, what if 2/22/22 lands on a Tuesday? Hashtag Drunk Brian. I looked it up, and it totally does.
That's fucking woke, dude.
Yeah.
It's the wokest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, that kind of blew my mind.
Watch the the international community will get together and change the calendar by then. It won't happen.
That's interesting.
We're doing this new thing now to get rid of the leap second, and like to do that, we'll have to just totally scrap the 2/22 Tuesday.
I have some topics, but we're coming up on an hour and a half, and actually, surprisingly, we got a number of questions, so maybe we should jump into those first.
Are they good ones, or are they the normal type?
It's CLC, dude.
There was one good one that I saw.
They're terrible.
Oh, shit.
Let me look them up here. Christopher this beer, something about
Perfect. The perfect pronouncement for Easter. Christopher Hoppins.
Oh man, there's something about beer that makes me forget certain consonants. Like I just don't put them in. I get too lazy. Christopher Hopkins says, "Is Jalen J. Larson Pippi Dipperson?"
Nah, man, I'm not any of the alt people in here. Like, I wish I was. I
The
always
only alt
considered-
where Jalen is alt right.
Yeah, bro.
Well-
Ethno state time, bitches.
As we've learned,
We're throwing the whites out. It's only the mixed race.
as we've learned on this podcast, if you want to get an alt, all you need to do is get a stalker.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I don't have one of those yet, so.
I'll give her your information if you want.
I mean, yeah, that'd be fine.
I mean, she's terrible at giving blowjobs too, so.
Oh.
I've never had a good blowjob, so.
So it's another bad one, right? Fuck it.
Yeah.
At least she'll meet your standards.
Exactly.
That's like
Par for the
the
course.
cookie thing. Like, I ate this whole plate of cookies, but I haven't found a single good one yet.
I don't know, Chris. That sounds like you have a problem. I've never heard that story before.
Well, probably.
Alex Insdorf says...
It's not a real story. It's just like a saying sort of thing.
Yeah, I've never heard that saying before. I think you just have a problem. Honestly, I bought Oreos for CLC movie night, and I found out that I should not buy Oreos, because holy shit. I can, like, devour a bag of those things.
What kind did you buy?
Well, I went with Red Velvet, because they reviewed it pretty well on you know, Greg Miller's Oreo Ration reviews.
Yeah.
I remembered
Those were the best. That was the best kind of funny content.
Yeah, and it was from a few years back, and they still exist, so I thought surely these things are good. But actually, kind of prefer the peanut butter ones.
The peanut butter ones are pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah,
You
pretty
should
good.
try the apple pie ones.
Oh
I
man,
haven't had those yet.
I'm cutting myself off. I can't be eating that stuff, dude. I have no self-control. Alex Insdorf says, "Do you guys realize that you're stupid if you're not conservative? Better become one now." Alex Insdorf did a April Fool's trickery where he became conservative for a day, and he posted
I kind of.
CLC News Report, and he lasted for, I don't know, it was quite a few minutes. I was pretty impressed, and then he finally said, shit, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So he
I
was
like
the
most
definition
Alex
of Ben
trolls.
Shapiro.
Yeah, I mean, Insdorf, don't become Ben Shapiro. You're taller than that. I think. I don't know. How tall is Ben Shapiro? He must be like fucking tiny, right? Like,
He's like
pretty small.
5'3", I think.
Jesus.
Are you being serious right now?
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5'3" or 5'4". He said it on his podcast before.
Holy shit.
Every time that you know, people, you know, think
Make
that
fun of
he's
him
the
for
end
it?
of the world and all that kind of stuff, and he's like, yeah, I don't know why so many people are intimidated by a 5'4" Jewish guy.
I had no idea. I always assumed he was like a 6-footer.
I knew he was short. Like, I thought he was like 5'6".
He's
That's what I
5'9".
Really?
That's
Yeah, I just googled it.
He's 5'9"?
So he's as tall as, what, Tom Cruise? I think that's Tom Cruise.
He's just a little boy.
What do you think would happen if, like, Insdorf and Ben Shapiro did the fusion thing from BBC? Like, would we
It would
get,
just
like...
form into a giant penis that came all over everything.
All of a sudden, Alex Ensdorf is better at basketball.
And that laugh.
I miss Insdorf's walking outside and, like, breathing while he talks.
If they were to fuse, they would probably be able to climb that pole.
Listen, Insdorf, if you're listening, which I know you are because you're sad that you can't be on our podcast anymore, so you listen to it so you can live vicariously through our guests. We want you to stop working out. Stop getting exercise. Just be fat, Insdorf, and breathe heavily and wheeze some more. We miss you, bro.
Free Wheezy.
Yeah.
Ingut Mertz says, what was the best family sitcom of the 90s and why was it Home Improvement?
Disgusting opinion. That opinion is, like, objectively false. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air exists, so...
Real quick, Jalen, how old are you?
22.
And then Matthew, how old are you?
30.
Okay, so you got some 90s stuff.
So Jalen's best sitcom of the 90s was Barney.
I watched hella Barney when I was, like, 3. I don't remember any of it, though.
We weren't sitcom watchers because I was homeschooled and my family was pretty sheltered, but I do remember my friend talking about Home Improvement. And she specifically told me this episode of where he goes and I don't know if it's his cleaning lady or what, but she's taking a shower and he thinks it's his wife, and he ends up opening the curtains and it's funny because the most shocking thing wasn't necessarily the fact that he saw her naked. It was the fact that my friend opened with, "You know how sometimes husband and wives take showers together?" I was like, "What?"
It was his sister-in-law, is who it was in that episode.
Oh, that's messed up.
Yep.
That makes it now I'm adult creeped out.
Yeah.
Shit.
But Home Improvement was pretty good. Freaking Cheers was still on in the 90s, so that one automatically goes up to the top for me. And then Friends was a pretty good sitcom as well, so.
Friends was good. When did Friends start?
Probably like 95 or something like that.
Is Seinfeld?
Maybe even earlier.
I was just about to ask if Seinfeld
Seinfeld
is
is way up there too. Yeah.
So Friends was 1994.
No, come on now, we all know Dinosaurs was the best sitcom.
Dinosaurs.
Oh wow, I did not know this. Seinfeld was 1989.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, still the majority of it was in the 90s, though, so we can,
Yeah.
My
we can make
favorite
an exception for the best one ever.
my favorite 90s sitcom was Carmen Sandiego.
Shit.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Or Star Trek The Next Generation.
Yeah, that show's fucking awesome, man.
I don't think you really know what sitcom means. But
Yeah, Star Trek Next Generation ain't a sitcom, but it is like next level shit.
sitcom is
They
short
go
for
into
situation
situations.
comedy.
I know.
Sometimes there's comedy.
I know, I was just trying to say these are like the only two shows that I've watched.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the classic answers are going to be Boy Meets World, Family Values, but
Family values. Family matters?
Family Matters.
What's Family
Family Matters
Values?
was great.
Tell me about the homeschool version of Family Matters.
Yeah.
It was called Family Values, and it's
Where-
starred Brian Bridges.
And Coral
Family
Winslow.
Values. Family Values was Family Matters, but all the characters were white.
We weren't allowed to watch TV, so our parents bought a video camera and let us film our own sitcoms. And
I wish that was true.
oh man.
Like, seriously, every single part of me wishes that was true.
Honestly, I wish that too. Although I have tape recordings from when I was a kid, and it would not have been pretty, I can guarantee it. They're so bad. They're not even funny bad. They're just bad.
Hey, let us be the judge of
I bet
that.
that we could put it into a funny supercut.
Listen, if you guys want to hear them, I'm not opposed to it, but I've given you fair warning that they are just bad.
We'll be the judge of
And
that.
that's even better, you know?
We'll release it as Patreon bonus content.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what's the next question?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so like I'm almost at the bottom of this beer, and I forgot that we were even asking questions.
Holy
The
shit,
next one
Brian.
is the golden standard of our list here. Are traps gay?
100%. Well,
Yes.
I'm going to go with the actual answer, and it's not answering whether or not traps are gay. It's whether or not Oliver is gay. And
yeah. There's a good chance.
the fact that a lot of anime is drawn by men, and Oliver faps to a lot of anime, does he not, in fact?
He's fapping to the fantasies of other men.
Right, that's gay as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Super gay.
What do you think about porn made by women?
I mean, it's like porn made by men, you know? Porn.
No, it's not. It's not even close.
I mean, sometimes it is. Joanna Angel has a lot of creative input, and it's pretty fucking filthy.
Interesting. Do they know what men want? Like, I mean, maybe they'd be more focused on the story and stuff, but when it comes down to it, do they know how to get the right camera angles and everything?
I'm
All
sure.
the man wants is a blowjob, a sandwich, and a beer.
Oh, that sounds so good right now. Michael Lozano says, what is the difference between living and existing?
This is the question I've been waiting for, and I've got the perfect answer for it.
Take it away, Chris.
I don't have an existing room in my house.
Yo. Wah, bah, 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 bah.
For you, Chris, I'm gonna post the party horn sound effect.
Awesome.
I like how Chris Jones answered that question. And now Joe Moore just answered it. You guys, this is... Okay, so Sergio says, for sweet darling Matthew James, when was the last time a spoiler ruined a movie for you and or molested you?
Does he not realize that whole thing was a joke with Blake about the Last Jedi stuff, and it was Tony that ended up blocking everyone, not me?
Interesting. I don't remember you being involved.
Yeah, it was back when Last Jedi came out. Blake said if anyone did any spoilers, he was going to ban them. And Sergio and that guy that had like the retarded face that was hit with a pan by Tony, and I took the fall for it.
Was that,
Pipey Diaperson?
no. Okay.
I think that was around the same time as the Marvel versus DC split up between the group too.
That was also when Chris and Tony told me.
So which side were the pedophiles, Marvel or DC?
I'll go upstairs and ask my sister.
DC, 100%.
DC is definitely the pedophiles.
Go fuck yourselves.
You know
I think Deadpool alone wins the pedophile award.
You know why? You know why DC is pedophiles?
Why is that?
DC, Washington DC, Washington DC, politicians, Hillary Clinton,
Cosmic ping pong.
Party, Democratic Party, Pizzagate, boom.
Oh my God, Jalen just figured it out.
Wow.
Somebody call Cowart.
Honestly,
Yeah, how were you not on that episode?
Oh my God, he just signed off too. That's hilarious.
I thought he was gonna go to Biden, but
I could have went to Biden, but I wanted to.
Well, Biden's in DC.
I wanted to go big or go home.
I take comfort in the fact that there's pedophiles on both sides. As a centrist,
It's a bipartisan issue.
You take comfort in that?
it's good. As a centrist,
Just as long as there's enough pedophiles to go around.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Rodney Combs says, Jalen, how would you go about implementing space communism?
All right, so I'll do a brief here. So it'd be like, it depends on like what the technology is. Like if we have like shit, you know, like in Star Trek where they can materialize goods, it'd be a lot easier to just like allow people to make whatever they want for the most part, and
Right.
kind of ration off the really like big shit. The exact details I don't really know, but if it's like more recent, if it's just like a lot of labor's automated and there isn't as many jobs, like it doesn't have to be all of them, but like if, I don't know, like a quarter or more of people are just unemployed at all times because, you know, they're just not useful economically anymore, probably like, it wouldn't really be communism, I guess, but it's like, you know, you'd probably
melt
just
them
have
down and
basic
make Soylent?
income. Exactly. Eat it, it'd be tasty. Just like, you know, universal basic income, shit like that, until you get to a point where you get to the more Star Trek-y looking things.
But would it be fully automated gay space communism? Luxury. I forgot luxury. Fully automated
yeah.
gay luxury space communism.
You gotta get to the end point before that. Then, like, everything's, you know, fully
The
automated.
luxury is really the hardest part.
It is. You know, the gay is pretty easy. You can make things gay very easily, you know.
Look at fluoride.
Yeah, fluoride's pretty gay.
John Lee says, why does space communism gay?
Because, you know, it's super gay.
We
'Cause
kinda just
communism
covered
is
that.
super gay. If you haven't like communist Facebook groups, there's a lot of gay things happening. So it's just
Well,
like,
is it because you have to share that space booty with everybody else?
maybe, you know, when I was like 15, I wanted like headless sex robots for all. That was one of my policy positions, that we should all get headless sex robots.
Is that included with the UBI?
Yeah, you are given a headless sex robot with your income. You know?
No, I want
Is
to
it
know
like
who
a
gets
fresh
stuck
one
with
each
this
month,
position
or
of
what?
fixing it.
fresh one each month. You're gonna, things are gonna get pretty kinky. It's like the future and shit. Things are kinky now.
So like the van comes around once a month and like takes your old one and like brings you a new one, like the guy that replaces the mats at the supermarket.
Yeah.
How would you have sex in space?
That'd be really hard. Artificial gravity probably. That's probably the only way, because you can't there's all these straps and shit if you want to bone in 0G, but that just sounds like a nightmare.
I love that you've done your research.
Yeah, I've seen some shit about having sex in space. I'm just curious.
Wasn't it one of the Pornhub or something wanted to make a porn in space?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. The 70s were like way ahead though, man. Like fucking Barbarella.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that what the lyrics of Star Wars are? Space porn. Nothing but space porn.
You thought that the Sarlacc pit was just a generic monster. It was a metaphor.
What that mouth do, Sarlacc?
Why do you think the dude added the beak years later in the special edition?
Damn. Young Jane Fonda is really hot.
Fuck yeah, she is.
Holy shit. I'm just like...
He's no good to me, dead.
What that...
Dude, you could just like riff on Star Wars porn jokes fucking all night.
What that frozen in carbonite do?
Boo.
Christopher Hoppins, as we've dubbed him for Easter, says, "Who is Pipper Dipperson and why is he Tim Divas Demuse?" Tim, are you Pippi Dipperson?
Is this Brian asking, or is this Christopher Hoppins?
Christopher Hoppins.
I'm going to use my Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate myself.
Interesting. Kenny Ryu says, "Has Larson ever moonlighted as a high school bully on an after-school special? He looks like he could pull it off."
I haven't. I should at some point. The older I get, the more high school bully I look, I think. Because when I was younger, I looked like a gangly fuck, So it was kind of the other way around. But that'd be kind of fun. Beat up some fucking little white kid in an after school special. Take his lunch money.
Not Power Rangers, though. You don't fit the bill.
So would you take the role if it was to beat up a black kid?
Yeah, I'd take the role to beat up anybody, I want it to be as offensive as possible, though. So I want to be bullying someone like...
Transgender handicapped Eskimo kid?
Oh, yeah, that'd be the worst. That would be about the worst. How about that?
And you should be the current age that you are impersonating a child in middle school when you're doing it. So, just to add to the...
It's like telenovelas. How they always have the older adults dressed up as little kids.
That way they can say you're 15, but you can show boobs.
Exactly.
Yeah, they'll just use the fucking colored pencils to put the freckles on your face and shit.
Tara asks,
Oh, shit.
"Jalen, what is your dream job?"
All right, let me think here. So there's a couple, like a real one that isn't just bullshit. Probably I don't know, working for an environmental nonprofit or a forest service or some shit.
That is so boring. Tell us your fake one.
Or a fake one, SoundCloud rapper.
Right on. That's what I'm talking about.
It's half joking. That'd be pretty funny if I actually did that.
Yeah, dude.
What's your dream job, Matthew?
Yeah.
Matthew's gone.
No, I'm not. I'm
Oh,
still
he
here. I'm
left?
thinking.
There you are.
Oh,
I was thinking.
All right, think away.
Job. Massive cartel drug dealer.
Oh shit.
That's good.
nice.
It'd also be pretty good to if the apocalypse happens, I want to my dream apocalypse job is being one of those guys on in Mad Max, they have those fucking crazy car things and there's people on the top throwing spears and shit at people.
Hell yeah, dude.
I want to be one of those guys,
The spray paint and everything.
Yeah.
Right on. Jalen, this is by Joe Moore. Do you have to do the Kylie Jenner challenge every morning to get such voluptuous lips, or is it entirely genetics?
It's entirely genetics. I do very little with that stuff. I do put when it's like winter and shit, like it is now, because it's always winter in North Dakota. I put like fucking Vaseline shit on my lips sometimes to like keep them from getting dry, but that's about all I do. I don't have to like do any weird fucking basic white girl make my lips bigger because, you know, that kind of shit. I don't got to do any of that, which is good.
So we're done with the questions. I personally kind of want to get to know you guys just a little bit before we close it off. I drove through North Dakota because my uncle is in South Dakota, and also my dad and I used to go on fishing trips to Minnesota every year for a while when I was about 11 to 14 or so. And there's a few things I remember. One, North Dakota is where I saw flooding, and I remember parks being flooded and like you could just see the telephone poles sticking up. And the second one is we drove through North Dakota and there was a fucking huge lightning storm, like all night, just lit up the sky constantly. Just this was the biggest lightning storm I've ever been in. Do you gotta deal with this shit? Why do you live there?
Yeah, there's a lot of shit like that. Like there's a fuck ton of thunderstorms in the summer. Like it rains a lot and there's a lot of hail and other bullshit. And it's like the land's really flat, so like in the spring there is like flooding that happens, like minor flooding usually. The city I live in got destroyed like 21 years ago.
Jeez.
By a flood, like a really bad one, and then they built like a huge like flood protection system and all this other shit.
That might have been when it was. I'm 31 now, and I went to North Dakota about around 10 or 11 years old, so I wonder if that was the one.
Yeah, it was 1997 was the year that like a bunch of fucking shit went south that year. Like the winter was really bad. There was like a shit ton of blizzards, and then the snow packed up really high, and then everything flooded. I don't really remember it that well, but I remember like repainting shit. That's about it.
Jeez.
Yeah, because 20 years ago you would have been what, 1?
No, it wasn't 21
He
years
wasn't
ago.
even born if it was 28 years ago.
It was 97. How many? I was like 3. Yeah, I had just. No, I was like 2 actually. Yeah, so it wasn't 21 years ago. It was 20 years ago. About.
So where I live, it tends to get way colder than Seattle, which is only 3 hours away, and the Seattle people are generally not prepared for winter. It's a classic trope, like a stereotype where we say, you know, Seattle, they're sliding all over the place and crashing and shit, and we're just like, yep, standard winter. We just accept it. We just deal with it, and we're ready for it. Is that kind of the same thing? Like, how do you... I mean, your winters are so long and so horrible.
Yeah, like, they're pretty bad. Like, they usually start in November. Sometimes they start in October, but it gets, like, super cold, and it doesn't, like... It's usually, like, negative temps through, like, December and January and February quite a bit. Man. And even now, it's still pretty... Like, it's warm for the winter right now. Like, it's 19 degrees right now, and that's, like, relatively warm. But you just kind of deal with it, you know?
Yeah.
Put on a lot of, I guess, coats and shit, and try not to die. Nice on the roads.
That's why you get drunk so often.
Yeah, there's also like nothing to do here, so it's like, you know, you just get drunk, you eat and get drunk. You know, everybody gets trashed in this town. There's like so many fucking bars.
Do you have to deal with that kind of shit, Matthew? I don't even know where you live.
West Virginia, over Charlestown.
Florida.
So pretty warm. I lived in Florida for a bit.
It's pretty much the same winter. We deal with it. I drive a sports car, so there's no really driving around in the wintertime.
What about your city or town? Do you like have anything to do, or is it pretty small?
We have a ton of strip clubs and we have a racetrack.
Yeah.
Nice.
And by strip clubs, it is
probably half the girls that I went to school with, and the racetrack. Just a typical
Even
racetrack.
better.
So, like, did you go to school with a lot of hot girls? Like, are these good?
On a scale of 1 to cattle scale, what would you use to weigh these women?
Yeah.
It mixes. I mean,
Mostly cattle scale? Gotcha.
there used to be an event at one of the strip clubs where you could toss a midget.
Oh, shit.
I started watching Ozark because Blake recommended it to me, and the dude buys a strip club, and that's when he first goes in, like, that's the kind of stuff they feature is like ugly women and stuff, and he's like, that's what our clientele wants, is just mediocre women or fat
Women
women.
that you know you can pick up.
Right. Have you ever seen your stalker, that one of them?
No, but I could have sworn she was. At one point, she was a nurse, but that could have even been a lie because of the medication I was on.
Oh, man.
He's just hooked up to an IV in the champagne room.
No, there was I remember there was a chocolate room. Midget tossing was like the special event of the month, and we had the midget stripper. There's a video of the midget stripper dancing at one of the clubs.
Shit.
The nurse leans over and you
So was it the same midget?
No, this was a guy that would put himself in a harness and then one of those Velcro things, and you could throw him up against the wall and $3.
So your town had two midgets, and it was a 2-midget town?
No, it was the same bar. It was like real famous stripper that's a midget.
I can just picture the nurse leans over and she's like, you're in the hospital, you're gonna be okay. And in the distance you hear boonch, 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 boonch.
Just wait, I'm gonna post the video for you all as soon as I find it. It was this chick.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious. Her name was Sassy.
Dude, I've seen this as a meme. Somebody posted it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have too.
Maybe it was you.
It probably was.
Wow, you're like meme famous. I'm impressed.
Alright, I found the video.
Honestly, if you stretch her out a little bit, she might be kind of hot. She's got kind of a pretty face. I don't know if I want to watch the video. I feel guilty inside.
You know you want to watch it.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to admit that he wants to watch it.
She has
You gotta
no...
be careful what you broadcast out into the world.
Yeah. She has no problem going up and down the pole.
No, she climbs it like a champ.
She doesn't even pull herself up with her arms
Get
necessarily.
it, girl. Yeah. I bet she can go really low.
She's 2'11".
She like stands.
That's what I mean, bro.
You're like
We're gonna climb that pole.
stand up on your toes and give me a blowjob. No, she's kind of cute. She's kind of seems like a decent girl. She's a nice and wholesome girl.
On this Easter evening.
She's got a lot of clothes on for a stripper.
Well, this is early in the night, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is 3 minutes of video, and I don't know, man. I would be pretty disappointed if all that ended up happening is twerking from a midget. Like, if you're gonna go and pay that cover charge, I want to see this midget naked. God damn it.
Dude, she could give Alex climbing lessons for poles.
Oh,
Dog,
dude.
right? If the bet was with her, Brian would have no beard right now. Could you imagine if the Little Giants won the Super Bowl? She'd be right up a pole.
I would so love to be able to use someone like that to cosplay as that one guy in Total Recall.
Oh God, fucking Quado, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Does anybody have anything else they want to go over before we close this off?
I'm cool.
Yeah, I don't think there's any topping the midget stripper.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Tim, do you want to do a D&D recap at all?
I could, yeah. Basically, all that ended up happening is the party happened upon an inn that it turns out that it has a curse over maybe the inn, maybe the woods that are surrounding said inn. They're not really certain what's causing said curse, but the innkeeper buried his daughter and his dog there in separate occasions, and both of them resurrected and are basically these weird sort of zombie creatures that weren't really causing any harm, but the party decided that they were going to put them down anyway. And then they went back and they let the druid know that they did that, and the druid said, well, you needed to bring me the bodies. So then they went and assaulted this farmer some more and dug up the farmer's daughter and dog and brought them back for the ritual, and that's basically where we're at right now.
Damn.
Didn't the place burn down?
Oh, yeah, and then Jordi Costa set the inn on fire for no other reason than to set it on fire.
Oh, man.
Because my party are monsters.
You have the most,
And-
like, the worst D&D crew. I don't know. I feel bad
Well,
for
and-
you.
Can I just explain? So basically what I was trying to do is I was really trying to set it up so that they could very easily see that these that the zombie child and zombie dog weren't hurting anybody and that maybe they should, like, I was trying to create some sort of a moral quandary where, you know, it comes down to making this farmer really sad about something or just leaving it alone and letting the curse do what it's doing, and you know, maybe it's not that big of a deal. and instead they just completely went balls to the fucking wall and were like, no, we are ending anything that is undead or cursed. We don't care what's going on or why. And yeah, I mean, it completely fucking backfired. You'd think that with all the experience that I have that I would have known that it was going to completely fucking backfire. And I kind of knew in the back of my mind that it was going to completely fucking backfire, but I guess I hoped that it wouldn't. And then when it did, I was still a little bit surprised.
Oh, my gosh.
So thank you, Brian Diaz. Thank you. I would like to point out that 2% Autism fucking KJ figured out what I was trying to do, and everybody else had no idea. None.
If you want to hang out with us or follow our podcast, you can find us by searching on Facebook for the Lost Context podcast. I'm going to try and get through this. Man, this beer is hitting me hard right now.
The Lurst Kerntex Perdkirst.
The Lurs Kerntrix Birdcurse. If you go to YouTube, you can search the same thing. Lurs Kerntrix Birdcurse, you'll find us.
The Los Concepts.
Emphasis on the sex. If you want to watch our Castles in Context adventures, you can go to twitch.tv/Castles in Context. If you want to help support our show and maybe even get some special exclusive content that we're coming out with, and we're going to be
Exclusive content.
we're going to be recording another podcast episode tomorrow with just us 5 hosts. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can go to Patreon.
But there's only 4 hosts.
Man, I swear, it's ever since Blake left and Brody left, I just can't figure it out. I don't know how many hosts there are.
There will be some hosts, at least, on this bonus episode.
I'm going to be here at least because I've got to record it, even if I got to do the fucking show myself. Patreon.com/LostContext.
Lurst Kerntex Perdkirst.
If you want to get involved in the Facebook group, meet our members, meme with us, do dramatic antics with us, and maybe even be on the show, just shoot us a message at one of our social media sites. We can get you in somehow. And that's all. Any last words before we call it, folks? It's fun having you on. Jalen. Matthew. I feel like, I don't know if it's the beer talking or if we just had a lot of fun, but I feel like this went by really quickly, but we're hitting 2 hours now, so.
Yeah, damn. That actually did go by really fucking fast.
Yeah.
It did fly by. Now I can get some sleep before having to work. Probably hours the next 2 days.
I just gotta find some fucking food now. I wish I had food.
I always think that it goes by fast, and then I have to go through and do the editing and listen to it all over again, and I think, ugh, we dragged on.
Right.
All right, guys. I'll see you around the group.
All right. Peace out.
Later.
Later.